Hello, everyone. This is Tim Houston bringing you 5 Minutes with Jesus again. Today's inspirational message is going to be coming from Micah 6 and 8, where it says to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with the Lord your God. I want to share three things that God requires of us, and it's really spelled out in the scripture. The first one is to do. And in that we need to be active and animated in our have animation in our lives. The first thing that God does when He creates man is place him in the garden and tells him to dress it and keep it, or to do something. He sends out Abraham and He says to go. Throughout the scripture, we're going to find out that God calls us lively stones or animated people, that we are to be engaged in doing things that are for the betterment of our family, our church, and our community. The second thing that scripture calls out is for us to love. 1 Corinthians 13 really clarifies the fact that if we're doing things, giving to the poor or giving our body or offering as a sacrifice, and don't do it in love, then it's nothing. So we've got to couple our action with love. Yes, God expects us to be animated. As a matter of fact, is one of the first order of business that He's looking for us. Is He found His disciples and they were busy doing something. Four of them were fishing and He called them from fishing. Another one was doing his job as a tax collector and He called them while he was working. I mean, God looks for animated people so that He can pour His love into them and they can go from doing to doing it in love. And then the third thing that comes out of this scripture is to walk humbly with God. Before we can say that we are walking with God, how are you serving? How are you giving? What are you doing? Where is your hands and heart engaged in the form of love? Because that is the prerequisite to walking humbly with God. Your humility should not take you to the sideline, to a misty mountain, off by yourself, to where you and God alone. No, your humility should take you to the public square where people are, where the hurting are, where those that are disenfranchised are. It should take your gifts and talent and use them for the good of others. And God says, in doing that, you're walking humbly with me. It's not a humble thing to take your gifts, your talent, and bury it in the ground and put it under, and because you thought that it would be safer there. It's not humbling to take all the things that God has poured in you and to let them sit still and stagnant. You got to first do justly, or do that which is right. Then you have to love mercy, or be one that is kind and considerate. And in those two things, you will find yourself walking humbly with God. This is not a complicated thing that God asks for us to do, to love, and then to walk with Him. It's not asking too much of you. He's not telling you what to do, because your gifts are different than mine. But He is asking us to be engaged in service, to be engaged in sacrifice, to be engaged in love. I pray that this message has found you in a good place, and that if you haven't done so, please seek God on what He wants you to do in this season. Thank you for joining 5 Minutes with Jesus. I look forward to sharing with you again, and have a wonderful rest of your day.